Did you see the headlines today? Facebook founder Mark Zuckerberg dumps crypto, screeches the headline from the Mail Online. A great rag. Meta is pulling the plug on its crypto payments wallet, burps TechCrunch. Yes, Novi, Meta's crypto wallet, is now no pulse, dead, kaput, finito. Yet more evidence of the artist formerly known as Facebook's ham-fisted attempts to co-opt the values of Web3 into its deeply unpalatable Web2 enclave. If you have funds on the platform, you'll need to get them the Zuck out before the 1st of September, or you're going to be stuck, like Zuck, forever. But if you're a Celsius or Voyager customer, that's going to be an unpleasantly familiar experience, which got me wondering, was anyone actually using Novi? To be clear, this was a pilot and a limited one at that, restricted to users in the US and Guatemala. But as for any real user data, like real actionable user data, ironically, I couldn't find any, which seems as good a moment as any to do the sponsors. Unlock the value of your NFTs without selling them. Liquid is a game-changing NFT marketplace that enables the lending and borrowing of blue-chip NFTs. The platform allows individuals to make their blue-chip NFTs liquid by borrowing against them directly. In turn, Liquid unlocks a peer-to-peer lending opportunity for crypto holders wanting to earn passive income on their capital, which will be backed by the value of the borrower's NFT. NFTs are here to stay, and now you can make the most of it by either lending your crypto out or by simply unlocking the liquidity of an NFT you already hold without selling it, freeing you up to buy the dip. So back when it launched, the big headline was that Diem, which was the replacement for the Libra stablecoin announced back in 2019, would not be integrated. Instead, David Marcus, the big cheese in charge of choosing the cheddar, went with Paxos's USDP instead. Checkity check here for more on stablecoins, if that's up your chuff. Marcus is the former president of PayPal and was probably seen as the ideal human to take on Meta's crypto charge. But he left towards the end of last year and re-emerged, reborn as the CEO of Lightspark. Lightspark. Visions of the future. A brilliant, beaming future full of promise and wonderment. Well, what is Lightspark? Well, it's a company created to explore, build, and extend the capabilities and utility of Bitcoin. David Marcus got red-pilled. Meta then sold off the technology assets of its DM association back in January, allegedly for around $200 million, seemingly game over. Now, if you remember when Libra was announced in 2019, it was a hugely significant moment. The currency may have been stillborn, but it provoked Congress to take crypto seriously. And whatever regulatory conditions are imposed on the space in the coming years, this is ground zero. This is where they started with those painful hearings.
The idea behind Libra is that sending money should be as easy and secure as sending a message. Libra will be a global payment system, fully backed by a reserve of cash and highly liquid assets. Now, I believe that this is something that needs to get built, but I get that I'm not the ideal messenger for this right now. We've faced a lot of issues over the past few years, and I'm sure there are a lot of people who wish it were anyone but Facebook who were helping to propose this.
The launch of Novi immediately provoked the congressional Avengers, Brian Schatz, Sherrod Brown, Richard Blumenthal, Tina Smith, and inevitably Elizabeth Warren, who immediately donned their capes and flew into action to quell the mighty Zuck with the power of their desktop publishing software.
Given the scope of the scandals surrounding your company, we write to voice our strongest opposition to Facebook's revived effort to launch a cryptocurrency and digital wallet.
And they cited concerns around Facebook's admittedly woeful record on data privacy and their aggressive tactic of growing as fast as possible, asking forgiveness, not permission. There are the usual tired arguments about stablecoins as a vehicle for money laundering and terrorism in the letter, but then later they state,
in terms of known knowns, a run on a large stablecoin could be highly destabilizing.
You know what? They were right. But that opposition went unheeded. It would seem then that Meta's attempts at building any kind of native crypto infrastructure are likely to be thwarted by regulators, wary of any attempt by Zuck to financialize the monstrous user base at his disposal. Now, in a statement to CoinDesk, Meta states this: "We are already leveraging the years spent on building capabilities for Meta overall on blockchain and introducing new products, such as digital collectibles. You can expect to see more from us in the Web3 space because we are very optimistic about the value these technologies can bring to people and businesses. in the metaverse. New products like collectibles. Inevitably, the thought of Meta being optimistic about Web3 is pretty off-putting for those who came to this space precisely because they wanted to escape Zuck and chums. But they're not going anywhere. Meta has made an enormous long-range bet on the metaverse, and you'd best believe NFTs are going to play a big role. They've already begun testing them on Facebook and Instagram. And in another corner of tech monopoly world, YouTube is also planning on allowing users to sell short-form videos as NFTs, something that's already possible via glass.xyz, where Timbaland's awkwardly mocap video dropped recently. And it's selling like, well, it's been slow, shall we say? And while we're on the subject of NFTs, CoffeeZilla dropped a scathing appraisal of NFT NYC yesterday, calling it a disaster, dunking on the event for being
home of the most single men in one place since Joker hit the big screens.
And he does have a lot to say about it, expert that he is, although he wasn't actually there. No. Although he does rip footage from someone who was, in order to make fun of it all.
Get your NFTs here, get your NFTs, going cheap, half price, anyone, get your NFTs now. Don't be shy, when the man with the bargains has passed you by. NFTs, anyone? Anyone? Nobody cares.
Wait a second, that's me. Did he just rip off my... what? Now, I actually was at NFT NYC, as you know, and while there was a lot of cringe around, it really wasn't a disaster. Well, apart from my barnet. This thing, well, it has a life of its own. But genuinely, it was way more diverse than you would imagine. Obviously not Ape Fest, which really should have been rebranded Sausage Fest. But outside that, yeah, it was actually pretty good. So, CoffeeZilla, love your work. But if you are going to feature our material, do us a solid next time and give us a credit, yeah? That's it for today. Barely time to even mention that Nexo, the sponsor that so many of you had an issue with on Monday, has stepped in with an offer to acquire Volt. Keep it real, keep the comments coming, good or bad, and if you like watching this content in its original form and not repurposed and taken out of context on CoffeeZilla, then please do consider subscribing. It's free, don't you know? Enjoy the rest of your week. Peace!